The US-Israel war on Iran has entered its 24th day with continued attacks across the Middle East, rising diplomatic tensions, and growing economic fallout worldwide. Let's start with the latest developments. There are now conflicting claims about possible peace talks between Washington and Tehran. US President Donald Trump says the United States and Iran are having very good and productive conversations about ending the conflict. Trump also announced a 5-day delay in planned attacks on Iran's power plants, saying Iran wants peace and has agreed not to pursue nuclear weapons. But Iran strongly denies this, insisting no negotiations or discussions with the United States have taken place since the war began. At the same time, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC, has warned that its power plants are targeted. It will retaliate by striking Israeli power plants and electricity infrastructure supplying US bases in the region. Airstrikes have continued across the country. The southern port city of Bandar Abbas, Iranian media has said US-Israeli strike hit a radio transmitter belonging to state broadcaster IRIB, killing one person. Further north, an air attack flattened residential buildings in the city of Urmia, with rescue teams searching through the rubble for survivors. The conflict is also intensifying across the Gulf. Saudi Arabia says 2 ballistic missiles were launched towards Riyadh province, with one intercepted and the other landing in an uninhabited area. Iran said it targeted Prince Sultan's airbase. In the United Arab Emirates, air defense systems intercepted a ballistic missile heading towards Abu Dhabi. Authorities say an Indian national was slightly injured by falling debris. In Bahrain, an IRGC spokesperson says Iranian forces attacked the US Fifth Fleet using missiles and drones. And Kuwait has formally protested to the International Civil Aviation Organization, accusing Iran of airspace violations and attacks on airport facilities that endangered passengers and airlines. There's also a separate incident in Qatar, where a helicopter crashed during routine duty on March 22nd, killing 7 people, including 4 Qatari armed forces personnel and 3 Turkish nationals. Meanwhile, Iranian missile attacks have continued against Israel. Air raid alerts sounded around Jerusalem and central Israel, with explosions reported in several areas. The casualty toll from Saturday's Iranian strike on southern towns of Dimona and Arad, near Israel's main nuclear facility, has now risen to at least 180 people injured. Fighting is also spreading across neighboring countries. In Lebanon, Israel struck a bridge connecting southern Lebanon with eastern Bekaa region after warning it would target the crossing. Lebanese authorities say that more than 1,029 people have been killed since Israel's escalated attacks on the country earlier this month. The United Nations peacekeeping force in Lebanon says its headquarters in Nakora was also hit by a projectile likely fired by a non-state actor after Hezbollah announced it had targeted Israeli forces nearby. In Iraq, casualties continue to rise. Authorities say at least 60 people have been killed so far, most of them members of the pro-Iran Popular Mobilization Forces. Separately, one foreign crew member was killed in an attack on oil tankers near an Iraqi port, according to port security officials. The conflict is also triggering international diplomatic pressure. Russia's foreign minister Sergei Lavrov has urged Iran to end hostilities, while also warning the US-Israeli strikes near Iran's Bushehr nuclear plant are extremely dangerous. Meanwhile, Britain has summoned Iran's ambassador in London, criticizing what it called Iran's destabilization actions. Britain says it is now sending short-range air defenses to the Middle East to help counter Iranian missile attacks. The war is also creating political divisions in the United States. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has called for an end to U.S. military operations against Iran. Another Senator, Tim Kaine of Virginia, criticized President Trump's decision to continue the conflict, saying the president is sending American troops to war without proper justification. The war is also shaking global markets. Stocks in China and Hong Kong are heading towards their worst day in nearly a year as the escalating conflict fuels fears of stagflation and global economic disruption. And in Britain, Prime Minister Keir Starmer has called an emergency meeting to address the growing economic impact of the war. As the conflict enters its 4th week, the war is no longer confined to Iran and Israel. Attacks are now stretching across the Gulf, Iraq, and Lebanon, while political tensions and economic shockwaves are spreading far beyond the Middle East.